What's up? What's up? What's up, Trek Nation? Welcome back to After the Snap. It's me, Tasha Pierce. I got David here in the audience already. What's up, David? Thanks for being here. Yeah, we got a big episode to talk about, and mostly I'm gonna leave my review as what I had to say about the episode in general. I'll let we can always bring it back up within normal conversation, but we're gonna really be talking about these Easter eggs because it was an awful lot of them in this episode, and a lot of them, to be honest, went over my head because I'm not the ship girl. Like I am the canon and knowing all of that, but the ship canon is like it can go over my head. Now there are certain ships that I can recognize on a whim. Y'all know I love the Defiant. That's my baby, and Voyager and the 1701A. And so there are certain ones that, of course, we know when we see them. But like, if you were to expect me to have known that that was the HMS Bounty that we'll be seeing shortly, I would have sorely disappointed you. Sorely disappointed. So, but before we get into Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 6, and the rest of its spoilers, let's talk about some news that came out this week. It's really not news. It's more or less like, this is a fan initiative, and not just a fan initiative. It's an initiative on behalf of the crew of Star Trek Picard, meaning all the people who returned from TNG and the new folks, and they want to have their stories continue in a series that is being basically pitched at this point by Terry Matalas called Star Trek Legacy. So it will continue the stories of whomever we have left at the end of Star Trek Picard. There's a lot of people pushing for more of these stories, and I'm one of them. I would like to see more from the old TNG crew, how they continue to pass the torch to this younger group of officers that we have met. I'm so excited to see how their stories evolve over years. I had the benefit of not growing up, because I was kind of older when TNG and DS9, I was in my young adulthood. But I had the benefit of seeing these characters and kind of watching them evolve over a number of years. And I think that the fandom of, like, right now, happy Sunday, Justin. So like this new fandom of people who are much younger than me, that they are going to be able to have a group that is just theirs. So TNG, that's my group. DS9, for certain, my group. Voyager, Enterprise. But what can the fandom that just started watching Star Trek in the 2000s, in the 2010s even, what can they say is theirs? We're going to give them Discovery, and we're going to give them hopefully more Lower Decks and Prodigy, and now hopefully they will get their own Legacy. They'll get to know some of our characters and some that they can call their own as well. So we also had Akiva Goldsman, who went on and had an interview the other day, and he had mentioned that he was going to have a date for Strange New Worlds, and that didn't pan through. He said it was going to come within the next day or two after this interview, and it didn't happen. I'm kind of looking forward to knowing when Strange New Worlds, or when we can at least expect it. Hopefully they're not holding that news all the way up until First Contact Day, which is April 5th. So the First Contact Day is not that far away. Be patient, Tasha. That's what a little part of me is saying. But the other part of me is saying, I want to know now. So y'all tell me how you feel about Star Trek Legacy. You think that's a good idea? Also, let me know when you think we might be getting word about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the second season. And we know that they are already beginning production on the third season. So we also know that we're getting a season 3 of Strange New Worlds. So that's all the news I got. Let's get into this monster. It's just so much. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I hope it just comes. It's just this like it lingers there. I know I need to sneeze and it won't just come out. Oh, excuse me. See, I knew it. So yeah, I'm still battling allergies and everything else, but we're gonna make it through today. We are. By the way, if you're not subscribed to After the Snap, please subscribe to my channel so you can hang out with me on Sundays and on videos. Usually at least twice a week. I think this week is only going to be one because I go to the doctor tomorrow, and I usually am working on a video on Mondays, and tomorrow I'll be at the doctor's office. Yay. So also, if you're in the audience now, do me a big favor and hit the like button. What time frame is Strange New Worlds? I have all of those here. Let me look at my list. I know it is Strange New Worlds is in the time frame after Discovery season 2 and before the original series, but I'm going to give you actual date because I got a list. I'm so glad I make these little lists because it come in handy. 2259 is the first season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and then TOS begins in 2265. So we've got a lot of stories that can be told between 2259 and 2265. So, and as Discovery season 2 ended in 2258. If that makes sense to you. So we got Bounty, which is our episode for this week. Now on the run, Picard and the skeleton crew of the USS Titan must break into Starfleet's most top secret facility to expose a plot that could destroy the Federation. Picard must turn to the only soul in the galaxy who can help, an old friend. Hey, honey bud, how goes it? Glad you can make it here today. I'm stopped up. So season 3, episode 6 promised to be more of a heist, and it was a heist episode, and we got to see all the stuff at Starfleet's Area 51, the Daystrom Institute. So before I get into anything else, I am going to drop the spoiler warning. There, it's already been going across the bottom of the screen, but just in case you didn't know, we about to it's going to, if it wasn't a surprise to you before, it's about to be broken down to the very last compound before I'm done here. So we got better looks at, this is the Fleet Museum. So we got a better look at the Fleet Museum, and you see this is where they keep all of the decommissioned starships and other ships in the lore. I think depending on how big of a Star Trek ship fan you are, you will notice and recognize them. I had to be told kind of halfway what some of this stuff was. Let's see. So let's start off with an easy one. This is the Enterprise A. We got that one at the Fleet Museum hanging out. Now, we know at the Fleet Museum, excuse me, Geordi LaForge is the Commodore in charge. He is in charge of the upkeep of all of these ships, along with his team, and his team includes his daughter, Alondra, not Sydney. let me see what David said. It looks like mushrooms. And Justice says, I would love a legacy show. You can bring new people in and older fans, but also legacy characters from older shows and make new crews and brand new characters. Exactly. You got something to do for the older characters who would be like your admirals, like Admiral Picard is right now. Um, I have a feeling we might see Riker in the Admiralty. So you can have your older characters sit in the admiral chairs, and we will get that side of things and the captains and all of that in an episode, or the ones that are actually on the starships. I think it's a good plan, and hopefully it's executed well. But I haven't had any complaints, nothing big or major about season 3 of Star Trek Picard. So if they keep in the same vein of season 3 of Star Trek Picard, or season 1 of Strange New Worlds, and have a different smattering of people from different crews, I'd be okay with that. Let everybody get a payday out of that. So yeah, your Enterprise A, and that's Kirk's Enterprise. So let's slide on over. Is the USS New Jersey, 1975. Now that one is named for Terry Matalas. Terry Matalas named a ship, and it's basically because he's from New Jersey and he was born in 1975. So he gave himself a ship. And if I was running Star Trek or a Star Trek showrunner, I'd probably give myself a ship too. I don't know what I would call it. If you guys had the opportunity to name a ship off of something that is important to you, what would you name it? I guess mine would be the Ashton 8422. Yeah, that would be my ship. And now this is my baby. The USS Defiant. That little ship went to war with the Dominion and is still in one piece to be at the Fleet Museum. So I can't be prouder of knowing that Cisco pretty much saved the Alpha Quadrant and the Federation in that little ship. I love it. Now that one I would recognize anywhere. Our next one is the Voyager, and that scene from Star Trek Picard season 3 episode 6, when Seven was talking about her time on the Voyager, how they became her family. She was reborn there. Man, it was some touching stuff. Oh, it pulled at your little heartstrings. She looks fondly back on that time of her being on the Voyager, and it would be a shame if we didn't see some character that she recognizes from that time in before we get to the end of season 3 of Star Trek Picard. Oh, you got 15 minutes to hang out with us, Dreamwalker. Thanks for spending it with me. Now look, before Dreamwalker has to get out of here, he had, and I'm getting a little ahead, but I want to say this while he's here. He had a theory about Star Trek, about Picard's body that had been taken. So, spoiler alert: if you didn't know, Picard's body was taken from Daystrom Station. Where were you when that happened? His theory is that that the plan is to use that body to deliver the speech on Frontier Day. So he said it several times this season that he was tapped to make a speech at Frontier Day. So Dream Prism is thinking, or Dream Walker is thinking that is the reason why they stole that body. They need to reanimate that body, and that person, that version of Picard, would be the one making the speech for Frontier Day. Yeah, Picard said it to Rolaire, and he also said it in the first episode. In the first episode, when we first learned that there was even such a thing as Frontier Day, he told Riker, yeah, they want me to make a speech there. So it's been mentioned a couple of times that he was supposed to speak there, which lets us know that that's an important plot point. We knew, or at least we assumed from the beginning, that because they introduced uh, Frontier Day and made it such a big deal, that it was going to be an important plot point. But then they started building on Frontier Day, which Picard has to make a speech. Riker has to make a speech. The entire fleet of of Starfleet is going to be present at this speech. It's just a lot going on around Frontier Day for it to just be a blip on the radar. We know that it's going something big is going to go down on Frontier Day. Dreamwalker said, I go by Dream Prism here too, but YouTube doesn't let me change my channel name unless I have a ton of subs and I don't really make content. So he said his name a long time ago. Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna call you, I can call you Alex. I can call you Dream Prism. I get myself all mixed up sometimes. I'm just gonna call you what you are here so everybody else will know who you are. David asked, there's a Frontier Day. This is something new. We had never heard it in any other Trek series or movie. But what Frontier Day is they are celebrating the first inaugural flight of the NX-01 captained by Jonathan Archer. So this is 250 years after the inaugural flight of the NX-01. Nope, doesn't happen in Cheyenne. All this is happening in space. So yeah, so there's a lot more that I want to add on to the Picard's body part of our conversation, but let's finish the Easter eggs from Daystrom and from the Fleet Museum before we start getting into what I think, because I got a theory and it is wild. And I said to myself, I'm not about to tell everybody this theory because it's not completely ironed out yet, but I cannot hold water. I have to tell somebody. So, so I'm going to tell y'all. And if I can get it together in my mind, I can put a video out about it. This one, I don't have to have it out right away. I can think about it for a day or two. Justin says, I was reading Avery Brooks would come back for the right show or right story, he said recently. And I think anybody, they would be crazy to say, I won't come back. I'll turn down this payday. Come back and close out an arc. Now, I think out of everybody, every end to a series of Star Trek, I think DS9 got the best ending, if you ask me. Now, there are some people who could argue that it was Voyager. Either or. But I think DS9, I think Avery Brooks, the way we last saw him, was a pretty good end. But there's always the question of what happened next. There's always a what happened next. So I do want to know okay, he stayed with the Prophets. How long did he stay with the Prophets? Did he come back? We heard a couple of seasons ago at Picard about a General Sisko. Is that General Sisko? Or was the son, one of the children of Sisko, General Sisko? There's a lot of answers that's still out there who I would love to get. So if they write the right story and Avery Brooks comes back, I will embrace that with open arms. Dreamwalker said, I wonder how the Vulcans feel about Frontier Day being based on a human flight. Yeah, but see, okay, there's the Federation of Planets, and then there's Starfleet. So my understanding is that this is a Starfleet holiday, which Starfleet is based on Earth anyway, right? And then the Federation would be what's based in with all the member planets. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yep, David said that would be awesome. Yeah. Dreamwalker said it wasn't a Federation ship to begin with. And David says Jake staring out the window is haunting him and Kira. Now I'm sorry, y'all. I told y'all it's this allergy stuff. So if I'm hacking a lot, I apologize. I got water. I should have put tea in here. That might have helped my throat a little. Let's go on. Let's talk about ships for a little bit. The next one is the HMS Bounty. So HMS Bounty is from Star Trek The Voyage Home and Star Trek The Search for Spock. This is the ship that that they used to go back in time from those two movies. I wouldn't have remembered it if it wasn't told to me. But this is also housed at the Fleet Museum. And you can see that the HMS Bounty on the side. Dream Walker says, okay, so when all the Starfleet ships get captured on Frontier Day, because we're getting the setup for that to happen, maybe the Vulcan ships can save us, possibly, if they can get their butts in our space. But you know who I've got a different, more controversial thought. And it probably won't happen just because of how controversial this thought that I have is. And if you'd like to know about my controversial theory, just wait a little while. We're going to get through these Easter eggs, and then I'm going to start talking about my theory. And I'm going to try to move through it a little quickly because I can see that my voice ain't going to make it. And then we have this cloaking device. This is the cloaking device that Jack and the LaForge sisters took off of the HMS Bounty. And of course, they were going to try to install it on the Titan, and they needed a little help. And that's when Geordi finally came around and was like, you know what? I'm about to help y'all. He helped them install the cloaking device. But this is, I think, the closest look I have ever gotten at a Klingon cloaking device. So take a look and take it all in. Now we go into the other ships that were out there. This one is, if you look all the way to the back, you see the NX-01 refit. So that was the refit of Archer's ship. Then we see the Katinga class, called Kronos 1. That one is from was it from the Undiscovered Country? Tell me which movie it's from if I got that wrong. But yeah, those two ships are there. And then we see the nacelles of the Stargazer. We know the Stargazer is Picard's original ship. This was his first love. But those are the nacelles of the Stargazer. And then we got that empty spot behind it. That is where the Titan was there cloaked. First it was empty, then the Titan landed there, and then they cloaked it. So you can't see it. It's invisible. Dreamwalker said, why is the Federation still following the no cloaking device pact? Wasn't that with the Romulans? And the Romulans aren't exactly top dogs anymore. And I don't know why they would still follow that Algeron. I think it's the Algeron treaty. I don't know why they're still following that treaty, especially if the Romulans, their empire has been fractured. Yeah, I don't know why they would still be honoring that treaty. It's a good question. So here's another photo of everything. Now, I don't know how I'm going to make it bigger. So if you want to see the names and everything of every ship that's out there, that is everything that's out there. It's laid out numerically and alphabetically. And if you want to see more, I got another slide of it too. Also, on my Discord, Clarence was kind enough to share this to the Discord. And if you decide you want a closer look at it and you want to, peruse it for a little while, then head over to Discord, join my Discord channel. After the Snap Fam, there's a link pinned to the first comment in the chat. I'm trying to think what else. Let's go to the next one. That is also, but give you guys a couple of seconds to look at that if you want to. Before we say goodbye to the Fleet Museum, because we'll be going from here to Daystrom Station because there was a whole lot of stuff in there. Some of it was just strange to me, like some of the things that was kept at this Daystrom Station was like, why? So maybe you guys will be able to explain to me. What do I think about the budding relationship on the show? I mean, we knew we was going to see somebody. And the thing is, they foreshadowed it a little teeny tiny bit, just a little bit. There were a couple of looks, just glances at one another. And I didn't try to make anything of it. But then this episode is like he was shooting his shot. He said, I kind of like her, and I'm going to let her know in front of her sister that I like her. I guess it's okay. Too sudden? Is love ever too sudden? Yeah, I think it is sometimes. But but this one, I mean, it is because it's only been a week that they've known each other, but they have been through hell and high water together. So maybe he is seeing that this is somebody he can go through some stuff with. I'm just spitballing. I don't know. Love is a bit much for me. Okay, so say goodbye. Say goodbye to the Fleet Museum. Say hello to Daystrom Station. Now, Daystrom Station had this was like a circus of just stuff. And it was stuff that I never thought that I would ever want to see. And yet here it all was. So you guys tell me what you guys thought about Daystrom. Let me see. Yeah. Tell me what you guys like the most at Daystrom Station or at the Fleet Museum. What did you like most at either one of those places? Let me know down in the comments, in the chat. So this picture, and it's because a lot of people was asking, did I see Archer's body? And I thought I saw Archer's body, but what it turns out this is not Archer's body. It's an Athan android. And let me see. I got to pull up my notes because I don't remember what all of these things are. Some of it I remember. Some of it was like, oh, because a lot of them are deep cuts. So let me go back to Athan Android and get y'all a explanation of what that was, because really I was confused by. Let me see. Oh, Justin, you got something for me? Justin said, I thought TNG had the best ending. But they had a good ending, huh? But DS9 was a great ending also, but it was bittersweet because everyone parted ways. I think if they did a DS9 movie, I would have put it on the same level as TNG. And you know what? Yeah, I forgot many people really like TNG's. TNG had a good ending. It's just that we always wanted more because that crew went on to make those movies, and the movies just suddenly stopped. And now we are like, okay, what happened next? So yeah. Where is Daystrom Station orbiting? Let me make me. Now you have to make me try to find this place. Where it's orbiting? I'm gonna find it because I don't remember them saying. After teasing Daystrom Station, they visited the facility. It's Section 31's, basically Section 31's area 51. Let me see. Liked Voyager at Fleet Museum because that's the show he grew up on, Dreamwalker. Hope they keep the tribble on Daystrom contained. I hope so too, for Worf's sake. And we will talk later because Dreamwalker is part of the Discord crew in WeChat, even when the show is over. So I don't know where Daystrom is orbiting, but I'm gonna find out for you, David. So I have to look the Memory Alpha fandom page up for it. But yeah, that was the Athan, gosh, android body. And I don't know why this keeps giving me some stupid this is not what I asked. Gosh, yeah, usually I'm a little bit more. So the Athan androids were humanoid androids controlling the minds of Sargon, his wife Thalassa, and their friend Hinnock. That is from TOS Return to Tomorrow. Yeah, and that was the one where the Spock got to play a villain, which I always like when he plays a villain. So we saw the Athan body. So it wasn't Archer's body; it was an Athan body, and many people just saw that AR and ran with it. And many people, me, I did that. Then we see the Borg Queen's skeleton over here, which I didn't know that was that until I had to look that up. That's the Borg Queen's skeleton, which is all, like I said, it's so much stuff over here that blinking you miss it. Now Raffi was at the D'Arce archive, where there was that one planet where all of their stuff was downloaded onto a drive. And let me see, because I don't want to be making things up. They kept that drive at Daystrom Station. Let me see. It was a data storage facility launched into space by the extinct D'Arce civilization. So it was launched over 87 million years ago, made of fortanium and other minerals. It contained records of artifacts, thousands of personalities from myths within the D'Arce culture. I'm trying to see what episode you will find more about that on TNG Masks. And then, of course, Lower Decks spun it off with some room for growth. I would say if you want to know more about that archive, TNG Masks is the episode to go to. Oops, let me take that down real quick. And then we had that probability device. Remember that one episode of DS9 where and he's the same as, what is Guinan's race species? What is it called? Whatever it's called, I can't remember. I know it's on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot get it out. He was the same species as Guinan, and he had this device that would basically every time he would gamble, he would win. Remember that episode on DS9? Well, for somehow the Section 31 has a probability device. So wouldn't you know it, they have one of everything. And I wonder how it got there. How did they end up with it? But of course, that's a question that probably will not be answered until another series, maybe. Another DS9 running gag is the self-sealing stem bolt. Remember that one time when everybody was looking for self-sealing stem bolts, and it was a whole bunch of them, and Jake and Nog were selling them like pretty much like drugs. Anywho, that's a self-sealing. I don't know why Area 51 or Section 31 needs some self-sealing stem bolts. We're gonna get a closer look at one. That is a closer look at one of those bolts, and I can't understand why they think they needed that at Area 51. Why do I keep calling this place Area 51? Section 31, Daystrom Station. We also have a Catan probe, and the Catan probes. Got to look the episode up. Um, Formerly inhabited planet in the Catan system. It was destroyed. It's no longer there. It's gone. Bye bye. But it is from the Inner Light, the one with Picard with the flute. So that probe is uh is how Picard ended up living that entire lifetime in those minutes that he was out on the floor on the Enterprise. So yeah, just so many, and I don't know how to like again, I don't know how Section 31 gets these things. I guess when a captain makes his report, does his captain's logs, if there's anything of interest to Section 31, they run straight out and get it because they got some stuff in here that you wonder to yourself, how did they get this? Um, the next one was a pup probe. I don't even remember what that is. A pup probe or PUP probe. If you know what that is, look, tell me. A lyric, yes. Uh, Allorians, yeah, Allorians. I believe she is. She is, and Daystrom could be at Rigel 3 Inner Light. Okay. Oh, you're giving me three different answers. So we got Rigel 3, where Daystrom Station is. We got Allorians, which is the race that was like sitting on the tip of my tongue. Thank you, Justin. And Inner Light was the episode with the flute, with Jean-Luc Picard with the flute. So we got a lot of questions answered. We got a smart group in the audience. Sometimes, y'all, I swear, I don't know what I'd do without you. That Sporocystian life form, the remains of that is from Voyager, Caretaker. So that is the remains. So again, Voyager was in the Delta Quadrant, but this thing somehow Section 31 went and picked up the remains of this life form and brought it to Daystrom Station. Um, Now this is M5, and Angus. When we were talking last week and speculating on what could be guarding Daystrom Station, Angus was like M5. Now M5 is another deep cut. We going all the way back to the original series and to the introduction of uh, Professor or the Dr. Daystrom, who had this crazy AI that he made. It was M5. So M5 turned out to be kind of correct about who was guarding Daystrom Station, because lore, or no, the data lore, the Soong golem that has all the Soong personalities in it is called M510. So partially correct for Angus, also partially correct for me, because I thought it was going to be Lore Guard and Daystrom Station. It turns out it was Lore and the rest of his family. Yay! So the whole family was in this one body, and that's going to be, it looks like, Data's thing to overcome by the end of the season. Who is that in that body now? It's not just Data, it's not just Lore, it's not just Soong, it's not Lal, it's before, it's a lot. So we know at some point you would hope one personality asserts itself. And what will that personality be? Who will that personality be? It fits really nicely in the theme of family that was been going on for the entire season of Picard season 3. Um, and giving what you pass on, what you make your legacy. And who will this android be with the influence of all the androids that came before it? I'm really interested in seeing how this personality or this person manifests themselves. How much of it will be data? How much of it will be lore? We know we're gonna get a little bit of everybody that's gonna show up. Then of course there's Moriarty, and y'all know that was the sore spot for me in the episode. We just didn't use him enough. It was like, why did y'all bring him back? Because they brought him back. They used him as a test for Riker to get past in order to get to the Sung android that is guarding the station. So we used Moriarty as the test. And then, it was like literally 1 minute. And I just thought, okay, a couple of seconds later, you guys used a clip from TNG, which looked really good, by the way. They used a clip from TNG of Data and Riker. And I felt like we could have done the same thing with Moriarty. Why did Moriarty have to be aged up? Why did he have to appear older? So anywho, especially if we're just pulling this out of Data's memory, Data wouldn't remember Moriarty being an older character. He would remember him being young. So why this older Moriarty? I let that bother me. That was the one thing that I really just couldn't get with in this episode. But Moriarty was a test. And in the song Pop Goes the Weasel was a part of that test. I don't know why I got another picture of I guess that shows you how much I really do love of the Defiant, because for some reason that picture just showed up. Let's go back to some more stuff in this. This right here is Kirk's body. Now, let's make it bigger. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. I saw Kirk's body and was like, oh, they got Kirk's body in there? They went and just dug his body up and brought it to Daystrom Station. It was pointed out to me by Clarence that there are life signs to this body. Yet you hear TOS era medical equipment still sounding as if it's sustaining this body. So if you got the impression that the James Kirk body was still alive, let me know in the comments. Because again, all I thought it was just, oh, that's a crazy Easter egg. We got James Kirk's body. But if his body is alive, now we got to ask ourselves why and how will it be used? If it's what's the point? How did they even bring it back to life when he was clearly buried under some rocks the last time we saw him? So you guys tell me if you got any insight on what they would need with Kirk's body. Because okay, we also know they had Picard's body there, but that would have a whole lot of scientific value, especially since he at one time had been assimilated by the Borg. Then you have his body, his consciousness has been uploaded into a golem. I understand why you would want to study this body. Ironic syndrome, you got a lot of reasons why you would want Picard's body. Why would we want Kirk's body? And why does it seem like that body is still alive? Weird to me. I'm trying to remember, was this the Borg vinculum or was this the Romulan, that weapon that Shinzon had? I think that's the weapon that Shinzon had. And then this is the Genesis device part 2. I think. Yeah. The Genesis device part 2. That's another one of those weapons that, okay, we already know that by the time Riker and this group have gotten into Daystrom Station, that Vatic and her crew had already been through there and got what they wanted. They took the portal weapon. They may have taken something else and we just don't know it. And they also took Picard's body. So it's interesting to me what they left behind. They walked right past the Genesis device. They didn't want that. There were a lot of other things that they could have snatched up that they didn't. And I also want to know how they got past the AI to get in. Okay, you had the little key to get in the front door, but how did you get to the back to get past the AI? Justin says, I believe there is some of Dr. M in Data, and I believe he will show up in those light beams Data has, and he'll help figure out what Vadic's plan is, and Data may act like Sherlock again. Well, if they bring Moriarty back, I won't be as upset that he might come out in his like those projections that he's doing now. And Data may act like they may have to figure out Vadic's plan. I can see if they bring back Dr. Moriarty for that, I'll be like, okay, we didn't waste this character for that 1 minute scene. And then the attack tribble, which I had no idea that they look like that underneath. I'd be terrified. I would be absolutely terrified of this genetically modified tribble. And it saw Worf and it was going straight for him. I know Worf was like, ugh. Yeah, genetically modified tribble. I can't remember what this was either. Sometimes I'd be wondering, why didn't I put a note on this picture? Because I don't remember what that was. If you remember, tell me. That might be the Thalaron device. Y'all let me know. I can't remember. And then, of course, we saw the crow. That was from one of the episodes when, oh gosh, Data was it when he was having the dreams? I gotta remember. Yeah, I can't remember what his or was that a raven? I can't remember what his deal was with this bird. Did it show up to him in a dream? I can't remember. And then there's that where still of that scene from TNG where it just looks so perfect. It almost looks too perfect. It was just a really a nice callback, a nice way to remind us of some of the relationship that Riker. We are so clear on the relationship between Geordi and Data, but to also show that Riker and Data had a very special relationship as well. That was cool to me. And we got the B4 head, B4's head, and we got this is the golem with everybody in it. It's got the whole Soong family wrapped up in this golem. And then there is Picard's body, which honestly, once we get to Picard's body, I start thinking, what's interesting about his body would be the fact that he had been assimilated and it was reversed. He that now his consciousness is in another body altogether, but this body would be of particular interest to Section 31 because of its, being a reversed Borg. So, what does Vatican them need with this body? So this is going now into my theory. Okay, and it's convoluted. And y'all know I go out there. I get all the way out left field. So before I go into it, let's okay. So they take Picard's body. Now, what has been described as missing from Daystrom Station is a weapon. They continuously said this weapon that's missing from Daystrom Station. Oh, okay. Thanks for season 7 when he was dreaming of his dad. Thank you, Justin, for looking that up, because Lord, I can't remember some of these things. It's so much. But okay. They kept they saying whatever is missing from Daystrom was a weapon more destructive than the portal device. And then we find out that what was taken was Picard's body. And the only time Picard's body was a weapon was when he was assimilated. Okay, so that to me is one reason that I believe we're about to get some Borg-ish in the next couple of episodes. The second reason I think that we're about to get some Borg-ish is the voice. Now, I don't know how many of you watched The Ready Room with Will Wheaton hosting. So after the episode, the Ready Room usually comes right out, and you can watch that where they interview somebody from the cast. They give you some behind the scenes stuff, and then they show you a scene for the next episode. And in the next episode, that face that talks to the face who talks to Vadic is present again, talking to Vadic. But when I listen to it, it seems that I recognize the voice, even though they have that voice heavily modulated. There are points in what this thing is saying that I feel like I can recognize it. And I've got a little clip that I'm going to play for you before we move on. And then you tell me if you think you hear what I think I hear. Because okay, so before okay, so let me see. I'm setting things up so I can show you what I'm talking about. So what I want you to do when we are listening to this is to listen to the voice, okay? And then tell me if it sounds familiar to you. Let's make it bigger.
I don't anticipate them breaking up the time we have left.
Let me know if you guys can hear it also.
Your physiology is not as special or complex as you believe. You are by nature malleable, made and their kind is beholden to a singular flesh. Dismember one from the other. Do whatever is necessary. The hour of Starfleet's fall nears. We must have the boy. For you and your kind will find your own resistance meaningless.
So tell me,
don't anticipate them.
Did anybody think they recognized part of that voice? Is it just me? And the face. Now this thing is starting to look more like something. So do you think that what we saw there and what we heard there could have been Picard. And if it's Picard, then we know it's not our Picard, it's Locutus. And if it's Locutus pulling the strings, is that why he wants the Picard body? And does he want Jack because he either A, needs something out of Jack's body also, or B, whether does he just want his kid, his son, by his side? Now, I could keep going, and I am. I am, because I have more, I guess, of things that I feel like is evident. The voice that we hear. The voice that we hear. I thought I got inklings of Patrick Stewart in that voice, especially with certain words that you could hear an accent on. So if you don't watch the Ready Room, or whether you do watch the Ready Room, go and listen to the clip for next week and just tell me if you think you hear what I think I hear. Another thing, what is Latin for the voice? Because so far we've had the little face, floaty face, or whatever, evil boss face is what we're calling him in our Discord. We've had that face, we've had the voice, and Latin for the voice, and I know you think I'm reaching, is Locutus. The voice is literally Locutus. But even if we go further, like I said, Picard's body does equal a weapon more destructive than the portal device. At least I'm looking at it that way, because he look at what he did at Wolf 359, and everything we get is pointing to a Borg involvement. We've got the setup from Shaw about Wolf 359. And then we had him also say, forget that stuff you saw on the Stargazer, the real Borg are still out there. There's something going on with Picard's body. There's something going on with Jack that's telling us to join us, connect us. And I've got a theory on that, but I don't even know if I'm ready to share that theory. It's just like I get a little why. You said Vox is voice. Okay, so Locutus is to speak or to say, and you still need a voice. You still need a voice, but I can get with that. Jack's visions. Do we really believe that those are a result of Irumodic syndrome, or could that just potentially be part of what we see him going through? These are some very specific images that he is seeing. And it doesn't seem like something that we saw Picard deal with in All Good Things. Why would his visions and stuff start so early in his life? His mother said he had been dealing with these things since childhood. So now my question is, what is really going on with Jack? It's not just Irumodic syndrome. We may have been given that as an explanation in one episode, but I really feel like there is more to it than just Irumodic syndrome. What you say? You said speech. Locutus is speak. Let me look. Locutus Latin. Spoken, having spoken, to speak. So yeah, we have the only person, again, the voice, the thing doing the speak in the face, that to me is some kind of embodiment of Jean-Luc Picard. I still don't understand why they have to cut her arm off for her to talk to this face. That's weird. It's a whole lot going on weird with these changelings. I'm wondering if, as me and Clarence were discussing earlier in our Discord, I'm wondering if this is a faction of changelings that broke off from the Great Link. Remember the episode that of DS9 that had Lost in it, and he wanted Odo to go and he wanted Odo to join him in creating a new Great Link for all of those changelings that they sent out to explore the universe in their infancy. So that was like 100 changelings. Lost wanted Odo to join him in making a new Great Link. Could he have successfully done that? And this faction got the same kind of illness that that the Dominion got way back in DS9, or some evolution of that illness. It's a lot to think about, and that's what I say I'm not ready to put a video out on it, because I haven't completely formulated the theory. But I really believe that what we're being pointed at is these ships are all connected and talking to each other. We get Locutus of Borg in the Picard body with his son Jack, and he wants to repeat what happened at Wolf 359, just using the fleet to destroy one another. Let me see what okay, and David was saying the speech is locution. Yeah, it makes sense. And Justice says, I'm gonna watch it because you have me thinking now. It does sound like Borg talking all at once, and the words are Borg-like, but with emotion. Listen to it, and there are certain phrases, and I probably shouldn't have listened to it as many times as I did, because once you start doing that, you start hearing what the hell you want to hear. So it's like I start looking for hints of where it could be taking us, and I swear I hear Picard's accent in that clip. I swear I do. So I have that clip on our Discord if you just want to go there and listen to it over and over like I did, or go to the Ready Room on YouTube and listen to it there. Now, our next episode of Star Trek Picard is called Dominion, which, this is all pointing us to Dominion war type stuff. But the description is crippled, cornered, and out of options. Picard stages a gambit to trap Vadic and reveal her true motive. Now, in my opinion, and hell, you guys came here because you want to hear some of this opinion. In my opinion, if Vadic is doing this, if her motive is because she was nearly assimilated, and basically Locutus has promised, if you do these things for me, I will release whatever this assimilation is, because they can't fully, it looks like they can't fully be assimilated. And I'm telling you, watch that clip and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's almost like they can't fully be assimilated, but the probes in them, if this is what's going on, I got all these thoughts. But if they are being partially assimilated, it's bringing them a lot of pain, and they're being stuck partially as solids. So if Locutus is saying, I'll release you if you do all of these things for me, and that's her true motive, Picard is going to want to help. And if Picard helps her, maybe she'll stop seeing solids as such a threat, and then they'll team up against Locutus to bring him down. And also a little part of me thinks that we'll see the Borg Queen again. And now I'm going to tell you, Borg Queen sounds crazy. If you hadn't heard a spoiler that I heard, and look, I don't want to ruin nobody else's life. The fact that I know something, even though a lot of people have already been talking about it, I know something that I heard, and that changes the way everything looks to me in this episode or in this season. So if you guys think, let me know down in the comments. I got a few people here. If anybody does not want to know the spoiler, let me know in the chat, and I won't say it because I'm trying real hard not to say it. But Locutus would be the one who speaks, the speaker of the Borg, like the speaker of the house, right? So Locutus has already been the mouthpiece of the Borg. In fact, that's what the Borg assimilated him to be in the first place, was their mouthpiece. And now this mouthpiece, like, I still got some shit to say. So now I want to continue to talk. I need my body back. I need my son by my side. And I need revenge on Starfleet, because they were the closest thing to pretty much stopping the Borg. I mean, he got beef, or it sounds like he's got beef with all of Starfleet, which I think the biggest beef that the Borg should have with anybody, they should have beef with Captain with Captain Janeway, because she gave him the flux over there in the Delta Quadrant. but again, it's always been the resistance of Starfleet, the organization, that has been a boon to the Borg. If the Borg turn out to be the main villain, I agree, Justin. David, you want to know? Justin says when you played it, it does sound like there's a Picard sound of his voice on top of the other voices. Yes, and it has Patrick Stewart's speech pattern on how he delivers his lines as Locutus. Right. And I'm telling you, unless I'm just doing, there's a word for it. It's called, I believe it's pareidolia, where you see what you want to see or you hear what you want to hear. I hope I'm not doing that, but I really believe that I hear Patrick Stewart's voice, the way that he, number one, his accent and his whole entire affect on some of those lines, maybe at least two of them. So, yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, listen to that clip from the Ready Room and tell me what you think you hear. So yeah, okay. So nobody said they didn't want to hear this. Might be spoiler. Some people have heard it already, really, honestly. So here's my might be spoiler. There are people who watch this, like I watch Picard on Paramount Plus. There are people who watch it on other services. They get Paramount Plus through Amazon or some other service. And the captions initially for that voice in Jack's visions, the captions initially said Borg Queen. Then it changed to Beverly. But at first, when you first watched it, it said Borg Queen, which means if that was the Borg Queen's voice talking to Jack, there's only one reason why the Borg Queen's voice would be talking to Jack. And I mean, as far as now, right now, if there's a Borg Queen talking to Jack, it seems like it would be because he inherited some ish from his dad. He's never been assimilated, right? Jack hasn't, as far as we know. The only person that has been assimilated is his dad, and his dad may still have the ability to pass that on to his offspring. So, without knowing about that Borg Queen reference, that throwaway, that little piece of spoileration, without knowing that, would I be going so hard about that being Locutus? Maybe not. But knowing that, it kind of makes sense. So you guys let me know what you think, or was that all a setup? Then we also found out on the Ready Room, and after I get through with this, I'm gonna get out of here because my throat is all together effed up. I go to the doctor tomorrow though, so hopefully we we'll be feeling better next week. So Ready Room. There's a surprise guest for next week. Now, who do we think this surprise guest can be? And Will Wheaton said they can't even tell us who the guest is because that might be a spoiler. So that's the question now. Who could the guest be? Does anybody got a guess about the guest? Okay, Clarence. Let me think now. Did Clarence have I think Clarence's guess was Golda Cott. And I'm going with my guess, probably Bashir, Kira. I forgot who my other one was, or Garrick. And I honestly am leaning heavily towards Bashir because we already had conversation last episode about the cure for the virus that had plagued the Dominion all the way back in DS9. We know that Bashir was instrumental in getting that to Odo, and then that is how Odo was able to cure the Great Link. Oh, another person that Clarence brought up was Odo's son, Odo. So Odo could be played by Rene Auberjonois' son, who, if you didn't know, looks exactly like his father. And so we'll pull that up because some people might get a little people get a little funny when you start talking about recasting Odo or any main character from Star Trek. But I'm trying to show you why this wouldn't be a problem if he were to show up as his dad, because he looks exactly like him. Like he looks exactly like his dad, which is like, yay, I love that. I love the fact, and I would not mind seeing him show up as Odo. Wouldn't bother me one bit. As long as it served the story, as long as it wasn't just some old fan service stuff, that it really was a reason why we needed him to show up as Odo. But I think it could happen if they wanted it to. Let me see. Justice says, you have me thinking this could be it. Plus, Locutus is still in the collective as an echo. There always is a part, even if you're taking out of it. That's why Seven and Picard always hear them. That's something to think. That lady who played the Borg Queen passed, so it can't be her. Bashir would be able to deal with the Dominion, especially as we start talking about viruses. But there's another Borg Queen out there. Remember last season? Just because we say Borg Queen doesn't necessarily mean villain. There's a good Borg Queen out there as well, and that was Girardi. So I would assume, and this is just all now, again, all of this is conjecture. This is me throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And a lot of stuff is sticking to me right now. Now, next week, we might all feel differently. And you could come back and be like, Tasha, you was talking out the side of your neck. But if the villain is Picard, you do have allies in the Borg who is Jurati. Jurati now. Not necessarily saying that they'll bring the whole Jurati collective back, but it's a possibility. And then we also know that for some reason, it seems like Starfleet took some tech from the Borg and used it in their fleet, because all those ships talk to one another now. So if you take over one ship, you've got a Borg collective. So we got changelings on damn near every ship in the fleet. And the only ships in the fleet that don't talk to one another are the ones at the Fleet Museum. And the ones at the Fleet Museum are the ones that we all are so attached to. So we got the Enterprise, NX-01. We got all of these ships with all of this legacy behind them. And they're going to be the only ones that can save the day at the end of this season, because all the rest of the ships are connected with some technology that probably shouldn't have been adapted into Starfleet. Oh yeah, David, last year Jurati turned into a Borg queen. It was weird, but she did. But she did. And so, and you know, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of people who are like, oh, this season is written so much better than last year. And I'm telling you, at least 60% of the writers on this season of Picard were responsible for what we got last year, to include Terry Matalas. Terry Matalas was the co-showrunner last season. He wrote the first episode of Picard. I don't know if he wrote the last episode too, but there was some overlap between last season and this season. So some of what was introduced in Picard season 2 is stuff that Terry Matalas did want, and maybe he wanted it to help further tell his story. Now, this is not to say that he wrote the episodes that most people had problems with, because there was a lot of episodes in the middle of Picard season 2 that I was like, we could have just thrown those away, and we could have kept 4 episodes and had a nice story. So I don't know which ones Terry Matalas wrote. I know he wrote the first one. So if he wanted some of this stuff in to impact season 3, he would have left it in there. He was the co-showrunner. He did have a say. So now I forgot what I was about to say. Oh, so yeah, it's possible that what Jack is hearing is not a negative force. It's possible that what Jack is hearing has been that Borg collective saying, reconnect with us, find me. I'm telling you, I can make it all make sense. I could be wrong as 2 left shoes. But I can sell it and make it sound like it's pretty, plausible. So if you got a theory, now is the time to share it. Now is the time to share it. I'm trying to think, was there anybody? We know what Dream Prism said. He wants that body to be needed by Locutus in order to give the speech at Frontier Day. But anybody else got a theory that we should know about? I'm always thinking this theory could, especially tomorrow, I gotta go to the doctor. I'll be sitting nervously in a waiting room. I'll be coming up with all kinds of stuff. By the time y'all mess around and see me again, I will have a fully fleshed out theory. But when I listen to this again, because I do listen to it again, it'll help me formulate the theory where I can word it better, and maybe I can present it in a video. But if you guys have anything that you would like to add to, or you might even say, Tasha, take this away from your theory and it makes more sense. Let me know. I'm all ears. You can find me. Let me think. I'm gonna put my email address down here, because if you're a little shy, you don't want to share it with everybody, you can always just hit me personally. Make sure I did that right. Okay, so that is my email address. So you can't say I didn't give you guys a way to reach out to me. If you got a theory that you want me to share, or you don't want me to share, or you think you can piggyback off of what I have come up with, please do, because this is what I do on Sundays, darling. And honestly, I do it all week. I just talk to y'all about it on Sundays. If you're a part of the Discord, you guys would know that we are. It's almost 24/7. Somebody up with some thought about season 3 of Picard, and I'm pretty sure we'll do the same thing for Strange New Worlds. The link to the Discord is in the pinned comment on this chat. All right, I have given everybody a chance to say what they want to say. Thank you for keeping me in your prayers. Yeah, I need all the prayers I can get. I behave badly. It's one thing to have allergies. Allergies are going to get you no matter what. I have other health conditions that I'm not particularly doing what I'm supposed to do. So some of the things that I get myself into, I really have gotten myself into. So I appreciate all of your prayers and well wishes, and hopefully they don't keep me. Hopefully they don't put me in the hospital or something crazy, and I'll be able to enjoy Picard at home instead of me doing silly stuff. But anywho, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me today. If you've not yet done so, hit the subscribe button. We do this here every Sunday. I am going to start more or less doubling down on my Star Trek content. So if you were part of the channel when I was trying to do it all. I was trying to do Marvel. I was trying to do Star Wars, trying to do Star Trek. I was trying, most of my engagement, like you guys, it comes from my Star Trek content. If there is another smaller sci-fi property, I'll probably follow that. But trying to get in there and mix it up with the big boys, it's just like I'm just getting lost in the shuffle. And but you guys can always have a say in what I talk about. If you guys want a separate, let's talk about anything, a live stream or video, just tell me and I'll try to work it in. Thanks, David. So yeah, with all that, yeah, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, there are ways that you can support the channel in, I think, the description of this video. If not, look on the channel page and you'll find ways to support the channel. And I will see everybody in the next one, and I'll keep you guys posted on what happens with me tomorrow. See you in the next one, y'all. Live long and prosper. Peace.